Okay.
at the store. He picks them out.
Bear, chicken, bear, bear.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Are they teeny?
Not really, no.
Are they
Which is surprising.
huge?
No, they're not. Also not huge.
Connie and Curtis on Channel 95.7.
I think they're huge.
Yeah, why don't you wear those giant underpants
I
that are
don't wear giant underpants.
that are too loose for you? They're my favorite
They're like
ones.
bloomers,
Because
really.
they come off easy.
Oh, because they come off easy.
Wow.
See what, look at this. Amanda getting a little fresh first
Holy
thing this
moly,
Thursday
Amanda.
morning.
What's happening
I
today
don't
with
know.
you?
I don't know.
Wow.
You feeling saucy?
A little bit.
Yeah? Why?
I don't know.
It's Thursday. It's fall.
It is Thursday.
You're not hot? How hot was it last night when we were going to bed? Oh, my goodness.
So hot.
From like 10:45 until 11:30, I thought I was you because I was just laying there, miserable in bed. And that's what you lay in bed over and over and over again. Normally, I just fall right asleep.
Yeah.
And my phone kept dinging. Boom.
Why?
Boom. Boom. Because I got tagged in a Facebook post.
Oh, right.
And then all night, boom, boom. So then I'm checking to see what happens. And then Russ texted us at like 10:30 at night. And I'm like, okay.
He said he's going to actually come in later on today, which I'll
is.
believe it when I see it.
He has a September 11th story that I have not heard. I asked Connie this
Yeah.
morning, I said, did you know that Russ has this connection to September 11th?
Nope.
And she said, no. So we get to hear it
Almost
today.
2 years we've worked for him.
I know.
We haven't heard the story yet.
It's our second September 11th, so maybe he didn't feel comfortable coming in and telling us last year about this.
That's probably true.
And I have met the people who the story is about and had no clue
Right.
that any of this happened.
No,
so
I know.
it'll be pretty interesting. A lot of things going on. If you want to remember September 11th, later this afternoon, this morning, Amanda's putting together a list of all that online at mychannel957.com.
Can you believe it's September 11th? 13 years.
No, not at all.
13 years.
I know.
Holy cow.
Now, this isn't going to be a day we just talk about September 11th and it's a sad, everybody crying
Nope.
kind of day today.
But we did send our interns out all around West Michigan talking to people this week about what their feelings were about September 11th. And we're going to play those clips for you all day long.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of probably the scariest days ever in my life because my sister was supposed to be flying around the country that day.
Oh.
So I woke up and Katie woke me up. I was sleeping. I was doing nights at a radio station. So I was asleep and she's like, you got to turn the TV on. You got to see this. And my first thought was, where is my sister right now? What is
Right.
going on? And we didn't hear from her for like a day. We didn't know where she was. Well, we knew where she was flying out of.
Right.
So we knew that she was okay. But she was on lockdown in an airport for 2 days.
Wow.
My sister, from September 11th until the 13th, with nowhere to go. Her whole flight was stuck in that airport and didn't get to do anything until the next, the day after, the 13th. They were stuck.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
And
so-
if she even had phone service, where was she?
She was down in Miami.
She was in Miami, okay.
And she, it was 2001, so you didn't have cell phones.
Oh, right.
So yeah, there was no way. We just knew that she luckily was not on one of those planes that had crashed. And so as we're just waiting, because they're like, oh, there's lockdown on the flights. And then somehow she got a hold of my mom and dad, like either a phone at the airport or somehow. And then they called me later in the afternoon, like, okay, yeah, she's fine. She's grounded. They're not leaving the airport for 2 days.
Wow.
And they just sat there because they were trying to figure out what the heck was going on. But yeah, first, my heart dropped. Like, my sister is on a plane right now. What is going on?
I remember I was on the air. I was doing a morning show, and I was on the air, and our news guy was from New York. And so he came running into the studio freaking out. He was like, a plane hit the World Trade Center. And so we turned on the TV and we're watching. And then we see the second plane hit.
Oh, my goodness.
Because we're like, oh, my gosh. That's at that point, we
Right.
didn't know. And then the second plane hit, and we were like,
Something's up.
okay. Huh. You know? And then all of us the rest of the day sat around the TV. That's all we did was watch TV. And then I went home, sat and watched TV. And I think that's literally all I did. I watched the news for like 2 months.
Right.
That's all I did.
Well, remember, it was nonstop.
Yes.
I mean, it was on TV, literally, on every channel.
Yep. And they'd
go.
go to at first they weren't even going to commercials.
Right.
And then they would go to a commercial and I'd go to CNN. Then I'd go to Fox.
Yeah.
Then I'd go to CNN. Crazy.
For like a week, it was on TV.
Yeah.
It was on the radio. I mean, you just heard the news. That's all that we were hearing is the news.
You know what I was thinking about last night? I remember People magazine after September 11th did a story on all the women who had lost their partners, their husbands, boyfriends, whatever, and the women who were pregnant
Okay.
at the time that the planes, all the planes went down.
Right.
And I was thinking, wow, those kids are like 13
They
now,
are.
12, 13.
13. They're as old as Haley.
Yeah,
my
right,
daughter.
right.
So they don't know anything about like what happened. They just know that something pretty bad happened. It's interesting because, as Connie said, we sent our interns around to talk to people all this week, and GVSU's campus is here, so we have that perspective of people who were like, I was in kindergarten and I didn't really comprehend why my mom and dad were crying in front of the TV. We have they talked to people who were not living here in the United States at the time, or who had just immigrated to the States, and saying to watch this country rally around itself was very inspiring and made them feel like they had made the right choice to come here to America. I mean, it's not something that we usually walk up to people and say, hey, what does September 11th make you think of? But to hear what you're going to hear today is pretty, it makes you think. Like, it's pretty powerful.
Now, Amanda, you were 11.
Yeah, I was in 6th grade. Wow. I just started middle school.
So what do you remember from September 11th of 2001?
I remember being in art class and my teacher rolling a TV into the room, which was unusual, and just sitting there watching and being in that room for the rest of the day, which, again, totally unusual.
Right.
And, of course, like everybody else, not really knowing after the first plane hit really what was going on. Was it an accident? Was it on purpose? And then knowing that it was on purpose. And then kids getting pulled out of school because their parents were afraid that more was going to happen.
Right.
And only half of the school being there the next morning because nobody knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, you didn't want to go. You didn't want to go out.
For me, it was just a lot of confusion.
What did your teacher say to you? Do you remember? Does anything stick out in your memory?
I just remember that particular teacher being very emotional. But just a lot, for me especially, just a lot of confusion.
Right.
Not really understanding why.
You were 11.
Yes, why somebody would do this.
Right.
And I still have never been to New York City. So to imagine the magnitude of the amount of people that live there and were like very, very, very affected by it
Right.
is still kind of hard for me to comprehend.
There's a video, like for the 10th anniversary, it was all over TV, all these different shows that they had produced for it. And there is a video primarily of people videotaping the towers out of their New York apartments or condos and just listening to them talk. And then as they start to fall, I will never forget the one guy who's like, we got to get out of here. We got to go right now. And he's grabbing things in his apartment, grabbing his son, who is a little baby, and just piling it all. And like, we got to go. And his wife is like, don't take the elevator. He's like, we're not taking the elevator. We got to go. We got to get out of here.
Crazy.
Just to be that. I mean, imagine living there. Watching it on TV from the Midwest is one thing.
Right.
Imagine being a part of that. I mean, that is something that they will never forget, and which is why, we as a country should never forget.
Right, absolutely. I was a little surprised because I'm a news watcher. I've watched the news all week long. And until, what was it, Fox 17's 4 o'clock news yesterday, I didn't see any newscast talk about it at all this week.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of...
What would you have wanted them to say?
Anything. Just mention that it's coming up. Like Fox 17 was talking about what was going on in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
As far as remembering the date.
I really didn't put much thought into it until I was either reading the paper or something online on MLive and saw something that was happening today. And I was like, oh, right, that's coming up. I mean, I don't forget it, but yeah, I don't like plan my week out like, oh, September 11th is coming up. So maybe it's a little bit of that.
Well, and I'm the one, I never forget it because I want to do something on the show every year. So I'm thinking about it for 3 weeks before September 11th even comes and talking to Amanda and saying, okay, what are we going to do?
So then you're watching TV and you're like, well, no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
And are you kind of second guessing
I haven't
yourself
seen anything
then?
on my Facebook page. Even like this morning, the first post that I saw was 10 minutes ago about somebody talking, like mentioning that it's September 11th.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, so maybe it has kind of faded. The whole Ray Rice thing has now overtaken it, and the Ice Bucket Challenge, is what Facebook is for.
I don't know.
So I don't know. Well,
And maybe as the day goes on, you'll see more, but
right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe now your friends are sleeping. It is very early in the morning right
I
now.
remember my boss at the time, back in 2001, saying, "This is going to change the way we do radio. This is changing the world. This is going to change the way we do radio." And I was thinking about that on my way in today. It hasn't.
It hasn't.
No.
You do it the same way.
We do it the same, except for on September 11th.
I just remember getting called in because I was just a night guy, just hanging out. I'd worked there for like 2 years, and I got called in to come and just talk, like be a part of being the afternoon guy. They just threw us on the air from like noon until my show ended at midnight. And they said, just talk to people, have the phones, see what people are thinking.
Right.
And that is something I will never forget on the radio. Like we were on the air for 12 hours talking to the phones ringing and just talking to people. And we didn't play any music. I mean, it just was a crazy, crazy day. It was probably... Man, I think the station played the news for like 2 or 3 days. So like 2 or 3 days after, they put us on at noon. They stopped at noon, and then we just talked. And it was like, just go and talk and see what people are thinking. And we did, I just remember doing like a blood drive every day. We were out giving blood, and we were out in the community doing so many things and getting water to send and everything. Like, what can we do? And so that kind of changed, a little bit for me. Now you think, okay, you're going to be talking longer. You're going to be listening. And I learned that day that the people who listen to the radio probably have more to say than the people who are on the radio. You know?
Right.
And they really kind of steered what we talked about for those 12 hours. And it was really something I'll never forget.
My morning show at that time, I remember we had these huge 20-foot long banners made that said, we were in Wisconsin, and they said, "Wisconsin remembers." And we went around and had people sign them. And then because we worked for a big company that was also in New York City, we delivered those to the site at New York City, and we did our show from the New York City studios there.
Wow.
And that was surreal.
How were the people who worked at that radio station, how were they feeling? Like, do you remember talking to them about what they had been through?
Yeah, and this was probably a week after September 11th in 2001, I would say. And it seemed like people were still in shock. Like, people could not believe that this had happened right down the block from them.
Right.
This had happened in their city. They still couldn't believe it.
Now, was it still super, like, dusty? I mean, what do you remember seeing in New York?
It wasn't dusty anymore. Just nothing but rubble everywhere.
Well, and
but
at that time,
it wasn't still dusty. It may have been more than a week. It may have been 2 weeks.
Okay, because a week out, they were still finding bodies.
Yeah, I think it may have been 2 weeks after that, because by the time we got the banners made and then went around and had them signed and stuff, I think it was probably 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
So they had cleaned up, but the people that you were interacting with were definitely in shock. And like, oh my goodness, we don't know what to do.
And they were nice enough they got us a bunch of people to come and talk to us on our show. And it seemed like everybody, I would say the underlying theme was people were still in shock.
Wow.
Still could not believe what had happened.
Well, and not surprising, right?
No, absolutely.
I mean, there are people who are still in shock.
I think we were in shock for years.
Absolutely.
Like a year, I was still going, what?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Crazy.
we'll check in with people from around West Michigan, see what they remember and how they perceived the day. That'll be good. We'd still have the Ed Sheeran tickets that we're giving away. You do that. Today's our first day. So you go to the Facebook page online, Channel 957, just facebook.com/Channel 957, and click the Win Ed Sheeran tickets. 8:30, we call our first name.
And you'll have 5 minutes to call us back if it is you.
It's exciting stuff.
So we'll be playing clips all morning long. If you don't have a chance to listen all morning long, we do have them all up at mychannel957.com. Here's what you're going to be hearing.
Michiganders remember.
American Authors on Channel 95.7. Connie Curtis. Oh, it's 6:34.
Ooh, it is pitch black outside. It is so dark. I'm not ready.
What time is it getting daylight? I didn't notice yesterday. Every day I'm thinking, I want to notice what time we're actually like, it's daylight.
So yesterday, daylight never really came because it was so cloudy all day. It was so dark. Official sunrise for Grand Rapids today is
September 11th of 2014.
Let's see what we got. 7:18 a.m. The sun will officially be up.
Okay.
Now, it'll start getting lighter a few minutes before that.
Yeah.
But that's when we we will see the whole circle over there on the horizon. That big thing in the
circle,
sky.
the orb.
That big burning circle. You'll see that
Yeah.
at 7:18.
Do you want to know something?
Yes.
15 weeks from today is Christmas.
You
That's
know-
it.
You know what that means?
We have 15 weeks to shop.
14 weeks from yesterday, my birthday. Yeah.
Curtis.
What are you guys getting me? What have you? I already know one thing that I'm getting from Katie
Yeah.
because I wanted to buy it yesterday. We were out shopping around, and I wanted to buy something, and I said, "You're never going to find this at a better price than this right now. I'm buying it. Please don't. Your birthday and Christmas are coming up." And I said, "In like 4 months, December." And she's like, Just don't buy it." I said, "You'll never get a better price
Maybe
than
she
this."
already bought it.
That's what I assumed.
Right.
Or she went back and bought it. So who knows?
Well, tell us what it is.
I'm not telling you what it is because if I don't get it, I'm going to go buy it.
You're
and then
going
I'll
to
tell
get
you.
it. Why can't
And that involves us how?
all
Yeah, it
secret
involves
up.
us not at all.
No, you know what I want? Okay, so you know when you go to a restaurant and they make the guacamole in that giant mortar, they have the mortar and pestle, and they're gigantic. That's what I want, a big one to make all. I want to make my guacamole in one of those because right now I make it in a bowl with a
Yeah.
fork,
Right.
and it's delicious.
I think that's what most people do.
But
though.
I want to.
You want it authentic.
I want it to be in there. I want to smash up some
Smush it.
things, and I want to get it, and I want it to be super good, and I want to serve it in that.
Right.
'Cause that's what I'm looking for is
Right.
the serving of it. And I think
like it
I'm,
on the border.
I think I'm getting it in 15 weeks. So
14
be ready.
weeks.
14 for my birthday, 15 for Christmas. So by the 15th week,
yes.
I should have it. I better have it.
You'll
We should
have
count
it.
down we should write every week. 3 weeks to guacamole bowl.
Yes.
4 weeks to guacamole bowl.
Because you know what I'll make then?
Guacamole.
Yeah, I'll make some guacamole and I'll bring it
Okay.
in. It'll be delicious.
Ah.
we had guacamole.
Will you make it in here right in front of me,
Yes.
like they do at the restaurants? Where they just bring all the stuff.
I will
And
do
they make
that.
it look so easy.
It is.
Throwing this in, throwing this in,
It's
throwing this
easy.
in, throwing this in.
You could do it.
Now I want a guacamole bowl. For
Let's
my
all
house.
get them. Let's all get guacamole bowls for Christmas. Let's do it. Let's get ourselves a show guacamole bowl. We could get that today, and then I wouldn't technically have one. So if Katie would still want to get me one for my birthday or Christmas in 14 or 15 weeks, I'd be covered with that. But our show would have one.
That's just what we need. More things in our office that have to do with food.
Guacamole bowl.
a show guacamole bowl.
We need a show
yeah.
crock pot and some show hot dogs
We
and some
do.
show chili and
it's,
onions.
it's coming up. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
no,
not.
I wasn't pointedly saying that to you.
We're not complaining
Amanda.
about it because you told us that sometime this month we will have the chili dogs, and we're excited about that. And then someday
very
later
excited.
that day, lamb dogs with gyro toppings.
I never promised lamb dogs with gyro
No,
toppings.
and I think
Sounds
Connie
nasty.
thinks that's probably disgusting. I know that my wife thinks that's disgusting because I found a recipe for lamb sausage that you make yourself, and then you grill it, and then you put all the tzatziki sauce and everything on it. And I said, doing this weekend, and she wrote back, Y-U-K.
Yuck.
Yuck in the email.
I'm with her.
Yeah, well, you guys can sit then at the window
Gross.
watching me eat it with it all
I would
drip-
eat that too.
dripping
I
down
love
my face.
gyros.
I mean, I'm sorry, I have plans this weekend, but I would love to have you maybe at a later date come in and enjoy that
Someday,
with me.
Amanda, your
Someday.
dream of hanging out with the Curtis will come true.
Remember,
Someday.
Amanda and I had a whole day planned. We were going to go do fun
true.
things, and she blew me off, and I will never forget. I'm like an elephant.
I had stuff going on.
Doesn't matter.
Like legitimately, I'm not like you or I lie.
Oh.
And now I'm not even sure I want to be around you.
Girl, Amanda.
No, I do lie. I lie to get out of doing things with Amanda. I will be honest about that. She will text me, and I'll be like, can't. Busy? I'm not busy. I'm
No,
sitting on the
you're
couch.
like playing the Kardashian game while you watch some weird TV show that you watch.
Exactly. Which, oh my goodness. Speaking of weird TV shows.
Okay.
I have breaking news. This is going to blow your mind.
Did someone fool Penn and Teller?
Probably 3 people.
No, they did not. Thank you for asking. Some stunning tricks, though, but they know. They know how they're
Okay.
done. Yesterday at school, Elizabeth watched a video featuring the guys from Fool Us. And I was the only one who knew who they were, Dad. but they were funny. And I said, they are funny, aren't they? And I said, did you raise your hand and say, hey, we watched these guys on TV? And she said, no, but I did tell a few people at lunch that I knew who they were.
Why were
Penn
they
and
watching
Teller.
that at school?
Some Penn and Teller video about learning. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay.
I didn't see the video.
Okay.
And then we were watching Fool Us last night. They're good.
Didn't
These-
you ask her why were you watching that at school?
I
Seems
probably-
like that's what I would have asked.
Why are you watching?
Why
Why
were
are
you-
you already
Yeah.
watching videos? It's
No.
like the 5th day of school.
No, Penn and Teller videos specifically. Why were you talking about magic tricks?
No, it was something about learning. Like they did something learning-wise.
Okay.
And like showed them something.
It was educational.
It seemed to be learning, educational. If that's what the word you want to use. So that seems to be what it was about. Something about learning.
Okay.
But I don't know because I said, "Oh, did they do magic?" No.
Let's learn about learning.
Yeah, learning's fun.
learning is fun.
Learning is great, right? Never stop learning. So Penn and
true.
Teller featured at my daughter's school, 4th grade class. They watched a Penn and Teller video. And you guys make fun of Penn and Teller, but these guys are awesome.
It seems they made an educational art video.
And that is probably what they watched
art
then.
class.
Yeah. So there you go. Watching the Penn and the Teller.
Seems like most people probably make fun of Penn and Teller because nobody else in the class knew who they were.
She said, well, you don't expect
Or everyone else
9-year-olds.
has cable.
Well, yeah, their parents watch. Yeah, exactly. That is true.
It is funny on the TV Guide website.
Yeah.
You can click on a show to get more information.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to know like how many more of these are coming up.
Right.
And it's coming to an end. It's a summer show. So I click on it.
That and Wipeout.
You're able to click I'm watching. So like a Facebook group where you can join
Right.
that. So there was a Downton Abbey special on last night,
Mm-hmm.
and like 8,000 people had clicked I'm watching. So I clicked on Fool Us. 22.
22,000 or 22
people. So then I clicked it, making it 23. You're welcome, Penn and Teller. 23 people watched your show
23.
last night. Can you believe that?
They must have felt proud.
23 people
23.
clicked the TV Guide I'm watching this button.
Wow.
8,000 were watching the stupid thing on Downton Abbey.
Everybody
which
loves that show.
I watched that for like
They
2
do.
seconds. It was boring.
Did you watch the show?
No.
Oh, well,
no.
then it probably wouldn't be interesting.
Right. Well, I think I should because it's like one of those things
I
where
feel like I should too.
where you should get into it. But after watching this special last night, no, it did nothing for me.
What's that other one? Is it
Game
Game
of
of Thrones?
Thrones?
I have no desire to watch that either.
It's
No?
so involved.
Is it?
I watched it for like 2.5 seasons, and when I realized I still didn't know anyone's name, I was like, I can't do this
Really?
anymore.
A girlfriend of mine is dating this guy. I think she's done with him now, but last week or 2 weeks ago, she was dating this guy, and he was like, you need to start watching Game of Thrones.
Okay.
You need to start How many seasons have there been?
4?
Four.
That's the one where everybody dies at the weddings?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so he
Spoiler.
brings it over to her house and makes her sit and watch, and she said they watched 3 episodes of season 1.
Okay.
And she had no idea still at the end of 4 episodes, still had no idea what was going on. And during the whole thing,
Well,
he was
she's-
going, "Isn't this great?"
She's dim, though.
No, she's not.
In
You don't even
his
know what I'm
defense.
talking about.
Not.
I know that you're
You
friends.
don't even know who I'm
Oh,
talking
I don't know
about.
either.
No, and
Most-
it's not Elisha.
Most of your
Okay.
friends, though, are pretty dim, I would
What?
say.
You don't even know most of my friends.
Thank goodness, because I rise above them.
Right. Because
Seriously.
you're the Captain Dim.
Captain Dim, they call me.
Yes,
And I
you're
love
Captain
it.
Dim.
Yes,
no,
I am.
it's not who you think it is, but yeah, pretty funny because she was like, 4 episodes. I have no idea what's going
Right.
on. And he was so excited during them, he wouldn't stop talking. This
Oh,
is so good.
well, that helps.
Oh, you know who this
Right.
is? Oh, da-da-da. I'm like, I think he got kicked to the curb.
I'm
now.
trying to figure out this show, and you won't quit talking. Like, I don't even know
And
whose
she didn't even want to be watching the
whose
show.
people's name these are.
Okay, well, Amanda, good. Then I don't have to watch that show. I don't feel bad now.
No.
Don't feel bad. You know what you need to start
Good.
watching, though? Breaking Bad before you die. Breaking Bad is a good one. Pretty violent, but you like that. Violence
love
is,
that.
is
Game of
key.
Thrones is very violent too.
Is it violent too?
Probably more violent. Than
Like that movie
Breaking Bad.
300?
Yeah.
Did anybody see that movie? Nick, you did? I heard that movie was super violent.
So violent.
Is that how Game of Thrones is?
Yeah, it's pretty violent.
Is it?
But 300, that was all
And there's a
computer
lot of naked people, if you like that.
What, Nick?
There's a lot of naked people in Game of Thrones, if you're into that.
I like that.
Curtis.
Naked men or naked women?
Both.
Okay. Yeah.
He doesn't care.
No, doesn't matter.
He's an equal opportunity naked
Exactly. If you're nude on TV, I'm probably going to find you.
person. He's watching it.
Yeah. High five it up.
I 5 it up.
There you go.
Okay.
There we are.
Thank you.
Awesome. We made that happen.
Well, Now we know what we're going to watch and what we're not going to watch.
That's what we're going to watch and what we're not going to watch with Connie and Curtis.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Connie and Curtis.
Ingrid Michaelson on Channel 95.7 with Connie and Curtis. 52 degrees right now. 61's the high today and partly cloudy. It was a little drizzly on the way in this morning.
Super drizzly.
Super drizzly.
And you're like, stay out of here, Drizzle. You're harshing my gig. I don't like this a lot.
Exactly what I was like.
You know what else is harshing my gig today? And
What?
this is a problem that you did not have 10 years ago. You
Okay.
did not have this, probably within the last 10 years. This is something new.
Okay.
I just tried to send a friend of mine a text.
Yeah.
And I sent it to the wrong contact because I apparently have him in my phone 4 times. 4 different numbers. I have a number from way back, like his first cell phone. I have his home number, which is where I sent the text just a second ago.
Okay.
That's not going to work. And then I have him in as a cell phone and then another cell phone that I have no idea. So I had to resend the text
To a different number.
to a different number. And I tried forwarding it, and that didn't work. It just took me 27 minutes to figure out how to send my friend a text, and I don't appreciate
Very
it.
tech savvy.
I'm so
Well,
tech
and have you
savvy.
noticed that if you go through and delete all the old stuff in your phone, then it just comes back?
It pops right back in.
I know.
Yes. Or you set it up. Like the annoying thing that I have right now, and every time I call home, I think I should switch that. I have Katie, and then I have Katie's 2 numbers,
Right.
home and mobile. So if I'm doing like hands-free in my car on Bluetooth,
Right.
it has to read out to me the whole home number, and then I have to say no, and then it has to read out to me her whole number. Do you mean 61? And I'm like, yes, dial. And that takes 20 minutes right
Can't
there.
you just pull it up and hit the one you want?
You can if you're not driving. Like my phone's in my pocket.
Oh,
so I'm driving. I'm
gotcha.
like, oh, I should call Katie. I got something to
Okay.
tell her. And then it's like, do you want the phone at the house to ring? And I'm like, no. And it says, are you sure? And I'm like, no. And then sometimes I'll call the house, and that throws her because she's like, why are you calling this phone? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. My
sorry.
car did it.
My car called you.
My car's
I
fault.
didn't mean to do it.
Like, I don't understand my phone is what it seems to come down to.
Right.
So every time that happens, I think I should just set up a Katie and a home. So when I say to my phone, call Katie, it just calls her mobile number and it would be set. But I haven't done that. You know, that's when you make big plans and then later on you forget all about your plans and you don't do them.
You should write yourself a note.
I should change the thing. Or I should just do it when I think about it, but I always think about it in the car.
And you're driving.
And in the car, I can't do it.
Right.
It's like yesterday I got home, and got home probably about 12:30, and Katie apparently was going to be baking. Because all of the baking supplies were out. Half of them in a bowl. One measuring cup was completely...
What was she baking?
Was completely filled. Some peanut butter bars. One measuring cup completely filled.
Okay.
She's not even in the house.
That happens a lot to Katie where she gets called away
she
from
had
things.
left. So the bowl is filled, like half. It had the flour in it, it had the sugar. She had peanut butter in a measuring cup. But she's not home. Like, I open the garage, there's no car. And I'm like, oh, okay, where is she? And then I find this, like, half baking. So then I'm thinking, did an alien, like, suck her into the spaceship?
Or maybe she thought she had eggs or something and she didn't.
And that was what it was. She had to run to the store to get
yeah.
something. But I didn't know. I thought aliens got her. Or maybe, like, somebody came in and, like, wooed her away from me. You never know.
Or it's
Really?
like leftovers.
And then she gets in the minivan with them and drives away. I don't know what's going on in
Wow.
her world. But yeah, she had run out of something and had to go get it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I understand that.
Did you get to eat the peanut butter bars?
They're made. I didn't have one. They didn't really look that good, but
Are they for some sort of school thing?
no, she was just making them. She found a recipe and wanted to make it, so then just went for it. And they
I want Katie to come live with me.
okay.
I want to live with Katie.
We can make that happen.
Yeah.
No, here's the problem. So it wanted it in a 9x11 pan, and she knew in her heart of hearts 8x8 was the way to go. She knew 9x11 was the wrong thing to do, but it said 9x11.
So she did it.
And then they were all flat and like thin, and she's like, 8x8, these would be great. And I said, well, that's why I'm not eating them. They're thin and they look disgusting, and I'm out of here.
Curtis.
So maybe I'll double 1 or 2 up today.
Yeah.
And make it like it's an actual type bar.
That's a good
but
plan.
yeah, it was more like peanut butter bark
Oh.
thickness. And she's like, yeah, I knew. I knew.
Yep, you should go with your gut.
It was going to spread, but the recipe, we always make the recipe as is the first time.
Absolutely.
And then you modify the second time.
Right.
She's like, I knew from my years of baking experience, but I did it anyway. Thanks, Pinterest. You're a jerk.
Did you get a lot of things off Pinterest?
Yeah, Pinterest is there. She all kinds of like weird mom things. Who knows what she does? Who knows?
I don't know. It sounds pretty delicious, and you benefit from it.
Get on the Pinterest then.
Yeah,
you would
I probably
love Pinterest.
should.
Think about Pinterest though, is you're stuck there for like 4 hours. You can't get off, right?
I
And
love
It's
Pinterest.
always funny because someone, we have Pinterest. We're Connie and Curtis. We always like, someone will randomly like something on Pinterest
Right.
that we have pinned like years ago. Like, hey, I like
we don't really keep up with that.
No, we do. We're adding stuff every day, but they will like.
We do?
Yeah, and they'll like something that we do.
When
all
did
the
that
time.
start? What did you add yesterday?
I usually put our blogs up there.
Oh, on Pinterest.
Yeah, they're always right up there. We've been doing
Did
that
you put
since
it up
we-
yesterday? No.
I'd have to look.
Oh, no. Were you on yesterday? We didn't have anything?
Sometimes I do it in the afternoon.
Oh. Like that afternoon?
You don't have to look. You didn't put anything up yesterday.
No, I
Oh, no.
totally
Connie
didn't.
was checking me out.
Connie and Curtis.